Friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel, English with Rimchim Kinsaria. Today we are going, I hope you are all, first of all, I hope you are all healthy and safe. Today we are going to begin with the poem, Because I Could Not Stop for Death, written by Emily Dickinson. And it's one of the most beautiful poems of Emily Dickinson. And first of all, I'll recite the poem for you. Then we will do its critical appreciation. So let's get started. Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves and immortality. Second stanza. We slowly drove, he knew no haste, and I had put away my labor and my leisure too, for his civility. Third stanza. We passed the school where children strove, at recess in the ring. We passed the fields of gazing grain. We passed the setting sun. Fourth stanza. Or rather, he passed us. The dews drew quivering and chill for only gossamer my gown, my tippet only tulle. Now the fifth stanza goes as, we paused before a house that seemed a swelling of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible, the cornice in the ground. And the last stanza is, since then 'tis centuries and yet feels shorter than the day. I first surmised the horse's head were toward eternity. Wow, what a beautiful poem. Let's do its critical appreciation. And before beginning with this poem, I would like to say that कि ये जो यहाँ पे जो Emily Dickinson है, she has represented death as a suitor or her lover. Okay, so let's see its critical appreciation. In this poem, the poet has personified death. She begins the poem saying that she was so engaged in her own life that she never gave a thought to death. She is saying that she was so occupied in her life that she was not, she was not able to give time to her lover or her death. Okay. Further, she say, as she never stopped for it, the death was so kind enough that it stopped for her. Further, this line, he kindly stopped for me. What does it mean? It may also mean that she was very busy earlier in her life, so she never gave time to her lover, but her lover was so kind that he waited for her patiently. Okay? Then she says that the death or maybe her lover has came with carriage to take her away. In the carriage she is sitting with her lover, and now she is going for a heavenly marriage. Then suddenly she discovered that immortality is also present in this chariot with them. In the second stanza, she says that they were driving very slow. Who were driving very slow? Emily Dickinson and her lover, or you can say death. As there was no rush and anxiety, and she was not in a hurry as he was waited for her for a long time. Then she says that she also had put away all her responsibilities and comforts just for his civility and kindness. Just because he was her lover was so kind and so, good, she has left her all the responsibilities and all the comforts only for him. Thus, in these lines of Dickinson's poem, we can see that acceptance of death. And please underline this line, acceptance of death. In the next stanza, she says that as they were going, they passed the school where the children were trying during their recess hour very hard. Children strove, and this line, children strove at recess in the ring. Maybe this line refers that even during the recess time there is a pressure and stress. It reveals the fact that even in our leisure time, we have to face a kind of stress. In this way, this line symbolizes the childhood. I would like to stress here that this stanza is very important for the graduation and post graduation students from the point of view of reference to context. Okay. Then further, then she says that we passed a field of gazing grain, which is a symbolic of adulthood. Further, they passed the setting sun, which symbolizes the old age. Thus, in these lines, the poet has represented the different phases of a human life. And as now she is going to die, she is having all the reminiscences and flashback in her mind. Or rather, he passed us. What does this line mean? Or rather, he passed us. This line is very important. Please underline this line. As the poet first said that we passed the setting sun, then suddenly she realizes the fact and rectifies herself. She says that it was not us who passed the sun. Actually, it was the sun who passed us. It refers that the sun is going to rise again the next morning, but she will never return now as she is going to die. The dew drew quivering and chill. The above line has two meanings. First, after one's death, the body becomes cold, and now maybe the poet is realizing the coldness of death, or maybe she is feeling unprepared for the heaven. The another meaning is as it is night, it's chill, and the God himself dropping the dews from the heaven for her. What a beautiful line. Further, she states that she has been made ready and dressed as she is going for a procession or heavenly marriage. She says she was wearing a delicate gown and she was wearing a veil of a soft and fine silk. In the next line, the poet says that then they paused before a house which seemed as if there is swelling in the ground. Hence, she is referring to the graveyard, but there was another grave there in the ground which was molded ornamentally. But as she has not been buried yet, there is one roof which is not visible to her, and that was her own. Further, in the last stanza, she says, it has been since centuries that we are aware of the fact of cycle of birth and death, but even shorter than the day, and maybe it means that we live our whole life for a long time, even though it seems very short when the death comes to us. Further, she expresses that first she guessed and expected that the head of the houses of her chariot, were toward eternity, which refers that she was expecting to attain salvation or eternity after her death, but instead of it, she has entered into a new world after death, and she is going to live there until or unless she will take a new birth. So, hence, Dickinson's view for death is very optimistic, not pessimistic. Death is not daunting and frightening according to her. Generally, we consider death as daunting and very, frightening. But she, Emily Dickinson holds a quite different opinion for death. While usually most of the people consider death that it is something which is dark and frightening. So we have completed the explanation of the poem, and now especially for post graduation and graduation students, अगर हम सिर्फ explanation लिख देते हैं, it's not enough. We have to write the poetic qualities or the literary devices used in the poem. So now we are going to do the literary devices and or you can say poetic qualities. So let's have a look on them. First, the tone of the poem is calm and peaceful. Second, Capitalization is very important in her poems. You can see some words are, eternity, centuries, house. They are beginning from the capital letter for the emphasis. Okay, and the next literary device is anaphora. Anaphora के आप spelling लिखिए ANAPHORA. Anaphora. We pass. The poet has used beautifully the poetic device anaphora. We passed जो है यहाँ पे मैं स्ट्रेस फिर से देना चाहूंगी, जो we passed है वो anaphora है, आप लोग लिख लीजिए. And the next is alliteration. 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 She has used alliteration as well. Next, personification. The poet has personified death as a human being, as we all know. Next, euphemism. EUPHEMINISM. Euphemism. The poet has also used euphemism in this poem. For example, his civility, house, and etc. etc. No? She didn't prefer to give title to her poems. First line of her poems, always remain as a title of the poem. Okay, it is lyric poem. It's raining outside, so sorry for the if it gets a little disturbance for you. It is a lyric poem. I'm not, you can, and we have completed the, poem. We have thoroughly gone to the gone from the poem, and it's very, very beautiful poem and most important poem of Emily Dickinson. In next class, we will go, we'll see the poem I Felt a Funeral in My Brain. Till then, take care, be healthy, and be safe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.